Welcome in, everyone, to Lively Lewis Stories.
That's right, we're back with even more awesome adventures with Levi and Ivy.
Set your storytime meter to fun and get ready to join the Lively Lewis crew.
All you need is your imagination and...
Off we go!
I can't wait to see where our story takes us today.
Have you ever wanted to get more Lively Lewis in your life?
Well, we've got you covered.
Grab an adult and zoom over to livelylewisshop.com.
Or just click on the link in our show notes.
Enough about that. Let's get to today's super Lively Lewis story.
Levi and Ivy were walking around their neighborhood one afternoon putting up flyers. But they weren't advertising a yard sale or a school event. They were advertising a business. Ivy had been asking her parents to get her a kitten for what seemed like forever at that point. Each time she would start talking about getting a little furry feline friend, her parents would tell her how much responsibility a pet would be and how when she was a bit older, they would talk about it more seriously. I just need mom and dad to know that I can take care of a pet now, said Ivy as she stapled flyers to a nearby telephone pole. And this is a perfect way to show them. It certainly seemed like a good way to show she was responsible because the flyers were advertising a cat-sitting business that Ivy had just created earlier that morning. No matter how many times I talk to mom and dad, they just keep telling me that I'm too young and we can talk about getting a kitten when I'm older, said Ivy as she walked with Levi. But I want a kitten now. I'm sorry, Ivy. I know how badly you want a cute little kitten, but I'm not sure this business will be the way to get one, said Levi. I mean, how do you know anyone will even let you watch their cat? I mean, you are kind of young to be cat sitting. Oh, great. Even you don't believe me, said Ivy, sounding a bit sad. It's not that I don't believe in you, replied Levi. It's just that taking care of any pet is a lot of work, and you're a busy kid. You have soccer, art class, and dance after school. When would you have time for a kitten? I'd make time, answered Ivy, attaching another flyer to a telephone pole. Levi, I just want this really bad. Can I count on you to have my back on this one thing? Of course, Ivy. I totally believe in you, said Levi as they continued their walk through the neighborhood. As they walked along, Ivy practiced her speech she was going to give her parents when they got back home. Levi happily listened and gave some feedback. I think it's good, he started. Not as good as the speech you did last week about wanting a kitten when we were out bowling, but better than the one you did after soccer practice 2 weeks ago. Ivy thanked her brother and continued to think of ways to make this new speech about wanting a kitten as compelling as possible. She thought her parents would love her determination and applaud her wanting to work to prove that she was responsible enough to have a pet. But as she was going over what she was going to say, she heard something coming from the bushes near the end of the sidewalk. She recognized the sound and was drawn to it immediately. That's because it was the sound of a kitten meowing. Did you hear that, Levi? Asked Ivy, running toward the sound. Not really. What is it? It's this, said Ivy with a huge smile on her face as she stood in front of her brother holding the cutest gray and white kitten either of them had ever seen. Wow, what are the chances you'd find a kitten on our walk? Said Levi. Pretty good, I guess, said Ivy, snuggling the little kitten who seemed scared at first, but then buried its head into Ivy's shoulder. Well, what are we going to do with her? Asked Levi. Maybe she belongs to someone. No way, answered Ivy. This kitten doesn't have a collar or any tags, so we can't just leave her out here. That would be mean. Well, we can't take her home, said Levi. We've just been talking this whole walk about how mom and dad don't think you're ready to have a pet. But what if she was just visiting? Asked Ivy with a shy smile. What if I tell mom and dad about my new business like I was planning to? Then I show them the kitten saying, I already have my first job. After that, they see what an amazing job I do with her. Then I tell them the truth that we found her here. They're so impressed with what a great cat owner I am, they let me keep her. Genius plan. I guess that could work, said Levi as Ivy gave him a look. But I believe in you. Like I said before, so I'm in. Let's give it a try. Levi and Ivy walked home with their new little kitten, trying to think of a good name for it. They suggested Cloudy, Muffin, Sunbeam, Mittens, and Mickey. They talked about Sydney, Luna, Star, and Miss Snugglekins. Seeing as they were almost home, Ivy had to make the final decision and decided on Lily, since she found the little kitten right next to a group of beautiful white lilies that were growing by the sidewalk. Just let me do the talking, okay, Levi? And you back me up when I need it, said Ivy to her brother. You got it. I believe in you, said Levi with a smile. So, with all the confidence that she could muster, Ivy walked through the front door holding Lily and called for her parents to meet her in the living room. And when they walked in, you can imagine that they were not prepared for what was waiting there for them. Ivy, what is this? Called out her mom when she saw the kitten. Ivy, we told you no pets right now, said her dad. They're just too much responsibility, I know, answered Ivy, interrupting her dad. But hear me out, please. Ivy's parents decided since the kitten was already in the house, they should at least hear how the situation came to be. That's when Ivy told them all about the cat-sitting business she had created to prove to them that she was responsible. She called it Kitty Cat Cuddles, letting anyone who she would be working for know that above all, she loved cats and they would get all the cuddles they could ever want while in her care. Ivy then broke down how much she would charge, telling her parents that she would save the money to help pay for a kitten and all the things they would need when she was finally allowed to get one. She told her parents how a lot of her friends have cats and kittens, so right there she had a built-in audience for her business. She went on to tell them that she made her own flyers and hung them up all over the neighborhood. And I thought it would be a little while before anyone contacted me, but guess what? While Levi and I were putting up my flyer, someone asked me to watch this little cutie, said Ivy, holding up Lily. Her name is Lily, and I'll be watching her for just a few days. So what do you think? Ivy's parents didn't exactly know what to say. They were certainly proud of their daughter's dedication to trying to win this debate, but they were still unsure if this was the best time to have a pet in the house. Does the kitten have to stay here with us? Asked Ivy's mom. I thought you said that the cats would stay at their own house. She did say that, said Levi, hopping into the conversation when he saw his sister's face getting a bit red, not knowing what to say next. But Lily's family just moved into town and they need a place to keep her until they're all moved into their new house. Ivy smiled at her brother and nodded her head in agreement. So what do you say? Asked Ivy. Just give me a few days and you'll see what a great cat owner I could be. Her parents left the room for a minute to talk, and when they came back, Ivy got some great news. We decided we'd let you watch the kitten for a few days, said Ivy's mom. But this doesn't mean we have a kitten now, okay? Okay, Mom, Ivy squealed in excitement, knowing in her head that her plan was working. And little did her parents know, but in a few days, they'd be so impressed with Ivy's cat owner skills that they would have no other choice than to let Lily stay. And over the course of the next 3 days, Lily and Ivy were inseparable. She got some supplies from her friends who had cats to make sure Lily was comfortable as possible. They played together, ate together, and snuggled together every day. Ivy's parents were definitely impressed because at times they didn't even know that Lily was in the house because Ivy was doing such a good job watching her. Ivy, I have to say, you're doing a fabulous job, said Ivy's dad at lunch. We're both very impressed, added Ivy's mom. Ivy tried to hold back her true excitement and knew her plan was working perfectly. She would tell her parents tomorrow the truth about Lily being a stray kitten, and they would have to let her stay. Lily was a great kitten, and everyone really loved getting to know her. Not just Ivy. The following day, while Ivy was playing with Lily in her room, she knew it was time to tell the truth. So she called Levi, her mom, and her dad in her bedroom to talk. Once everyone was there, she explained exactly how she and Levi found Lily and how she thought if she proved she was a great cat owner that her parents would let her keep Lily. Ivy, I will say I'm not happy at all that you lied to us, said Ivy's mom. You know in this house, we always tell the truth. Yeah, Ivy, you do know better than that, added her dad. I know, Mom and Dad, but I thought I had no other way of showing you that I am old enough to have my own pet. And now after being with Lily for 3 days, I really love her. Do you think there's any way that we could keep her, please? Asked Ivy. Levi and Ivy's parents once again left the room to have a discussion. And when they returned, Ivy was once again pleasantly surprised. Lily is just too cute to give up, so we have decided that based off the wonderful job you did with her the last few days, that yes, you can keep her, said Ivy's mom. Ivy ran over to her parents in complete disbelief, with tears running down her face. I can't believe it, sobbed Ivy, crying tears of joy. Lily is my kitten now. Levi was so happy for his sister and knew Lily would be a great addition to their family. However, after having another conversation about the importance of telling the truth, Ivy, Levi, and their parents sat down with Lily and made a list of all the things they would need to make her comfortable in their house, since she was part of their family now and not just a house guest. The next few days were filled with kitty toys, litter box training, and lots of kitty snuggles. Ivy couldn't have been happier. And then everything took a bit of an unexpected turn. Ivy had decided that Lily would be an indoor cat from now on, but she still liked taking her out for walks in the neighborhood. So one day she loaded her up into her special cat backpack and headed out for a walk. As Ivy was walking along, enjoying a beautiful summer day, something caught her eye. It was a flyer on a telephone pole. But it wasn't one of her flyers. It was a lost and found flyer. More specifically, a lost and found flyer for a kitten that looked suspiciously like Lily, and that's because it was Lily. "Oh no!" exclaimed Ivy as she ripped the flyer off the telephone pole and ran all the way home with Lily. As soon as she got inside, she found Levi and showed him the flyer. "Wow! What are the chances that Lily's got a twin lost in our own neighborhood?" said Levi, not putting all the information together yet. "That's not Lily's twin, Levi. That's Lily," said Ivy as she started to cry. "Lily is someone else's kitten." She took Lily out of her special cat backpack and hugged her tight, knowing that it was only a matter of time before she had to do the right thing and call the number on the lost and found flyer. Ivy knew she needed to tell her parents, so that was the next thing she did. They could see how upset she was and tried to make her feel better. They explained that Lily's real owners probably felt just as bad, if not worse, right now. And she knew what the right decision was. "If Lily's owners live nearby, maybe you can go over and see her every once in a while," suggested her dad, trying to make his daughter feel better. "You're right, Dad," said Ivy in between tears. "We need to call the number on the flyer and get her back home." Within the hour, Ivy's parents contacted Lily's owner, and she was at their house in no time. "Oh, thank you so much for feeding this little one," said the older woman who came to pick up Lily. "My cat just had kittens, and I'm moving soon. So with all the packing and running things out in the garage and moving truck, someone must have left the front door open, and this little one ran out. I couldn't leave for my new house knowing she was out there all alone. She was so lucky to find you." "I was lucky to find her," replied Ivy. "She's the best little kitten I ever met." The older woman watched as Lily cuddled and purred in Ivy's arms, and then she said something Ivy didn't expect to hear. "If you don't mind me suggesting this, would you like to take her?" asked the woman. "What do you mean?" asked Ivy. "Didn't you just come here to take her back home with you?" "Well, actually, since I'm moving, I was looking to put as many of the kittens as I could into good homes," said the woman. "I can't take them all with me, and I would just try to get them adopted once I got into my new house." Ivy's tears quickly stopped, and she turned to her parents with wide, hopeful eyes. "Well, you did say yes once already," said Ivy with a smile. "So what do you say now? Can I have Lily again?" This time, Levi and Ivy's parents didn't need to go talk in the other room. They threw their arms around their daughter and their family's new kitten and said, "Yes, absolutely. We wouldn't have it any other way." They exchanged numbers with the woman before she left, telling her that they would send pictures and updates on how Lily was doing. She could have not been more excited that Lily was with such a loving family. Before she left, the woman kissed the little kitten on the head and thanked Ivy again for finding her. And as she left, Ivy plopped down on the couch with Lily in her lap, processing all of the big emotions she went through in the last few hours. So happy that the final emotion she was left with was pure and limitless joy as she cuddled her new little kitten.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the story and learned a little something too.
And since we know everyone has their own story, we'd love to hear yours.
If you have an idea for a Lively Lewis story, leave a comment on our Apple Podcast review page with 5 stars, your idea, and your little one's name.
Then maybe our next adventure will be with you.
Until our next Storytime Hangout.
Thanks for listening. We can't wait to share another fun Lively Lewis story with you.